Watching get myself in the face with the microphone. That'll be embarrassing. Anyway, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. My name is Benjamin Johnson. I'm the events coordinator here at McNally Robinson Booksellers in Saskatoon. This event is being held on Treaty 6 territory, the land of the Cree, Saulteaux, Dene, Dakota, Lakota, and Nakota, and the homeland of the Métis Nation. As we listen to our speakers share their words today, may we also keep in mind the Indigenous stories that have been shared on this land since time immemorial. It's my pleasure to welcome you to the Saskatoon launch of Only Human by Kristine Scarrow, published by Wild Skies Press. Joining us as guest host and arm candy this evening is Ben Deutscher. Thank you so much to Kristine and Ben for being I didn't put that in there. For being here this evening and for working with us to make this event happen. Just to note, this event is being live streamed, so please be aware of the webcam off to your right. There's a few wires going around. We have a projector as well, so just watch your feet as you're walking along. Also, I'd like to take this time to encourage you to silence your phones for the duration of the event. If you would like to buy copies of Only Human, we have some up behind me on the signing table, as well as on the desk by where you first walked in. You're welcome to get it signed before you purchase it, but please purchase it. Thank you very much. All right. Without further ado, and probably unnecessarily for many of you, let me introduce our author, Kristine Scarrow. Kristine Scarrow is the author of 4 young adult novels, Throwaway Girl, If This Is Home, The 11th Hour, and The Gamer's Guide to Getting the Girl, all published by Dundurn Press. Her fiction has been shortlisted or won numerous awards. Her short fiction, creative nonfiction, and poetry have appeared in several publications. She's also served as an editor for book-length manuscripts, as a mentor through the Writers' Union of Canada and the MFA in Writing program at the University of Saskatchewan, where she also holds an MFA in Writing, as a 5-year hospital writer-in-residence, and as writer-in-residence in 2022 and 2023 for the Saskatoon Public Library. She teaches creative writing and communication classes at the post-secondary level. Everyone, please give her a warm welcome.
I just want to point out that the last time I had a book lunch, my kids were small, and now they're young adults, and it might get rowdy in here. Oh my goodness. Okay, hi everyone. Thank you so much for coming. It means so much to me. I'm thrilled that you all took time out of your busy days. I know these winter days are long. We come home from work. The last thing we want to do is go out into the world, and so it means a lot that you come and you're actually taking time out of your night to support me. It just means everything. Yeah, I see all sorts of people here, MFA in writing, fellow students from my cohort and cohorts before and after me. And I see my co-workers from MUW. I love you, shout out, woohoo. And I see friends, family, other people from the literary world, and it's just awesome. So thank you. I can't tell you how much it means to me. I need to say a special thank you today to my kids, Kale, Ethan, Gracelyn, and my son's girlfriend, Joni. She spent the day with me today. And, you know, now that I've launched other books before and have gotten used to public speaking, I'm not as nervous as I used to be, and from teaching as well, I guess. But for whatever reason today, I was extremely emotional. And I sobbed almost all afternoon today. And I couldn't figure out why, because I wasn't feeling nervous, but I think it's been so long since, and you'll hear me say this tonight, what this book means to me and how this progression of I guess my writing career, how it's felt like there's been this big gap. And this is sort of the next step in that gap. And I think it's a win that I really, really needed. Poor Joni helped me with like, what should I wear, to receiving a really beautiful message from a friend of mine who's fighting cancer right now. Couldn't be here tonight, but she sent me a beautiful message and posted it on social media, and that had me in tears. And then it was, oh, my dad won't be here tonight, and that had me in tears. And then it was, I wear on special occasions my dad's ashes on a necklace, and I had put it on earlier today, and then I had taken it off for safekeeping, only I forgot where I put it. So my son Kale was helping me to try to find this thing, and I'm sobbing through that. And then they're like, Kristine, put on some happy music. So I did, and I danced around the house still sobbing. And so like, I don't even know what's happening today, except to tell you that like all the emotions, right? So yeah, thank you so much, Joni, for babysitting me today and getting me ready for this event. So as you know, This Only Human is a collection of short stories for adults. And so this is quite a departure from the work you normally know me as having had 4 young adult books before. So it is a bit of a departure. The majority of this book was written about 5 years ago when I was doing my MFA in writing at the University of Saskatchewan. And actually, my mentor, Leona Tice, is here tonight, and she's who worked with me in the generative part of my thesis, the creative portion of my thesis. And so I had a lovely experience with her. I kind of consider her my writing mom. So yeah, this is a huge thank you, Leona, for helping me through this entire collection. Big thanks also to Dr. Jeanette Lyons, who couldn't be here tonight, but she's the director of the MFA in Writing program, and Dr. Sherry Benning, who is co-facilitates with the program with her. And also, I want to say a quick thank you to Paula Jane Remlinger and Bruce Rice and Jeanette again, who all generously took times out of their busy life to read copies and provide book blurbs, which you'll see at the beginning of the book. So again, writers and just people in general are so busy. So to be able to have somebody volunteer to read your work and provide feedback on it is really special. And I don't take that lightly. So also, thank you to Benjamin and McNally Robinson. We all love bookstores here, but McNally's a really special place that does a lot to support local authors, like 100%. And so yay for independent bookstores and yay for McNally, and please support them the best that you can, because yeah, they're magical. Yeah, you're magical. Okay, so I gotta be honest with you, it's been 7 years since I've had a book come out, okay? And a lot of times I wondered, would this ever happen again for me? So I was on quite a trajectory with my first book. I was lucky enough to sign with a literary agent in Toronto. That book went out, Dundurn Press picked it up. From then on, they picked up the next 3 books. And I was developing, this YA career. And it felt like there was momentum building. It was a very exciting time. Unfortunately, the Dundurn Press ended up being sold, and they decided to go in another direction, of which they no longer were going to be accepting and publishing young adult works anymore. So for me, that meant I would have to submit elsewhere, which okay. But my agent had passed away unexpectedly. And so that was a surprise, and it meant that now I felt like I was sort of starting from scratch all over again, right? And along with that time, that's when I made the decision to go back to school. So I'm at 40 years old, decide I'm going to go back to school for my master's in writing. And I have kids who are about to approach post-secondary. So at the time it felt kind of selfish and kind of like it was a real, it felt very indulgent to go to school when I have kids approaching university themselves, and like, what am I going to do go do this? But as you'll know, when I talk about the MFA program so much, is that it was a humongous thrill and one of the best 2 years of my life, being able to immerse yourself in all things writing. And I'm so grateful that I did that. Now I'm just having a hard time not going back for a PhD, but that's a whole other conversation. And I hope it taught my children that no matter what age, no matter what, at any time, no matter how hard it seems, like, change your path, follow your dreams, do whatever it takes. It's always worth it on the other side, right? So I went back to school for my master's. When I was finished my master's, I got the post for writer in residence at the Saskatoon Public Library. Also a totally dreamy post that I loved that year. And the whole reason why I was trying to get my master's is because I really felt a pull toward teaching. So I knew that that was my goal. So after I was done my post at the library is when I got hired on at Sask Polytech to teach communications. And that's how I met my crew at Avenue W, which I love you all. I'm so happy to see you. I've been on a med leave this term, so I haven't actually gotten to see my coworkers. So it's really good to see you all. So yeah, started teaching communications, and then I also started teaching English at University of Saskatchewan in Gabriel Dumont. So all of this wonderful stuff to be so immersed in writing. But the thing was, I wasn't writing for myself, right? I mean, teaching is all encompassing. It is like, go hug a teacher. Everybody hug a teacher. They are not paid their salt, and they live, eat, and breathe the profession. And it is so hard to have time for your own pursuits when you're teaching, like, absolutely. And so writing did take a pretty big backseat in the last several years. So this is really most of the work that I've generated in that 7-year time frame from the time that my last book came out. So it kind of feels like I'm starting over, and I hope I don't get emotional here, but when you're a writer, when you know you want to be a writer, which I knew since the time I was, like 8 years old, and you have some of those dreams come true. Ooh, okay. And when that ball is rolling, and then it feels like, a big pullback, I have to admit that my mental health, I think, was taking a bit of a hit over the years, thinking like, would this ever happen again for me? Not just publishing, but just, getting to the end of a creation, and that satisfying feeling of like having created a piece of work, right? And so yeah, for a long time, I felt like the momentum had kind of died out, and I wasn't sure what was next for me, and if the writing would continue. So I really feel like this sounds dramatic, but when you're somebody who encodes the world through writing, and that's the way you make sense of the world, and feel like that's like how you come to peace with yourself and what's going on, it does feel like a really integral part of yourself is missing, right? And so it's hard to imagine life without writing. And so in a twisty, unpredictable way, like, here we are, and this book has come out, and honestly, I don't know any other way to say it except for, I think I needed this book for me, right? Not so much maybe for other people, but for me to feel like I had a bit of a win, or that I was investing in my writing again, and feeling like, I still had some kind of foot in the game, so to speak. I don't know. Yeah, I see a lot of heads nodding. I don't think the writers in the room probably get that. And yeah, I think it's just a way of like being sure that, like, believing that your writing matters, right? So, and sometimes I think we all need that. We need that boost, that what we're doing, what we're putting out in the world, especially creatively, and in this world we're living in, where like cuts are happening and you don't know where the arts stand, I feel like we need this more than ever, right? And so, yeah, that's I think the big part of it. So on that note, though, this collection isn't a complete departure from what I am used to writing. This is realistic fiction, just like my YA books. So if you find those books a little dark and gritty, you're going to find that maybe in an adult form now in this book. There's 11 short stories in this book. They're all set in Saskatchewan. Place didn't really play into it as much as the characters themselves in this book. The characters are just going through ordinary life, but they find themselves in really precarious life situations, and life pushes them to a point where they act maybe uncharacteristic of who they typically would be. So it's asking, who are we in difficult moments? Who do we become? How would we react? We think we would all act a certain way when we're going through something tough, but when life pushes us too far, right? Yeah, you can be surprised maybe with what you do. So each of the characters struggles with things like, we have struggling with your career, struggling with burnout, not being able to do the job like you used to be able to do, relationships, there's other traumas that happen. And basically each situation is so desperate that the character kind of has no other choice but to act rashly. So yeah, I hope that this collection resonates, and that you're able to ask yourself, what would you do in a difficult moment? So on that note, I'm actually going to ask you guys to participate in this part of the book launch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put up a poll everywhere. And I'm going to ask if you have a phone that you bring it out, and I'll help you get situated. Should I take, yeah, okay. Oh, let's not trip.
Well,
You give the klutziest person cables and things, and we'll see what happens. So, okay, Gail, do you want to help?
Yeah.
Cool. Sorry, Lex. Oh. Okay, I think we're gonna be able to do it. Okay. Awesome. Okay, so how you're gonna play this is a poll, and it's going to tabulate everybody's answer. And I don't know how well you can see it far back, but what you need to do is either scan this QR code and it'll take you directly to the page, or you can go to www.pe. Gail, can you see what the thing is on top? What the link is?
yeah.
Gail's trying to bring it up for us.
There's a full screen mode, isn't there? Well, have you accessed?
I'm not sure, dude. I'm not sure. Is the QR code working for way in the back even? Oh, no kidding. I'm getting thumbs up. Okay, I didn't expect it to do that. Okay. So I'll read out the answers as well, if that's helpful. There's 3 answers for every question. And I'll give you another minute or so here to get set up. And your answers are anonymous. It'll just show how the audience responded, okay?
Hey, Kristine.
Yes, Derek.
Waiting for your presentation to start.
It's waiting for my presentation to start. Thank you so much, Paul. Present up there. You have been pressing that.
I think it's because there's no one. It's
Oh.
not connected.
Go here, go right here and go to McNally
Is
guest.
it free?
Yeah, there's McNally guest. Okay, give us a sec here, guys. Thanks, Paul. I appreciate that. There's all the times you pressed it. Okay. Working? Awesome. Thanks, guys. Okay, so here we go. If you saw your partner stealing in a store, would you, number 1, pretend you didn't see it? Number 2, turn them in? Number 3, join them?
We're starting to question our friend choices.
Yeah,
Your full legal name.
yeah, your full legal name. Yeah, thanks, Max. Wow, most of you would pretend you didn't see this. Okay.
Yeah.
And what? And then discuss. Yeah, discuss after. Okay. Okay. You want to do the next one, Kim?
Sure.
Thank you. Your baby is crying nonstop for hours. You've done all you can to try and soothe them. Do you add a little whiskey to their bottle? Grandma did it. Shake the baby. Call your mother.
Show responses.
Oh.
Oh, okay, I'm right. Yeah, okay. So most of us would call our mother. Some might shake the baby, some might add a little whiskey to the bottle because grandma did it and it worked for her. Yeah. That really is a thing I actually remember. She got it. Like, I don't know. That's the way I am. Okay, thanks, Kel.
So who's the 5%?
You fall in love with the baby while at the park. Do you decide to try getting pregnant? Steal the baby? Take photos of children in the park? Are you feeling the baby button? Yeah, of course it's people. Whoa.
Oh, I can't get results.
Max says these results are concerning. Lots of people will take photos of children in the park. Everyone secure your child at the park. Okay, Kale. You don't like your son's new girlfriend. Do you ban her from visiting your home? Intentionally try to sabotage their relationship? Or entice your son to date someone else? Okay. We have a lot of sabotagers in the room, more than I expected. Okay, thank you. Next one, Kel. You are diagnosed with a terminal disease. Do you accept it as part of a larger plan? Try every possible treatment? Or decide the timing and method of your death yourself? Oh, this one's much more even, isn't it? Hey, wow. Awesome, thank you. You're burnt out from your job and you can't stand your coworker. Do you spread rumors to sabotage your coworker? Make mistakes that cost you your job? Or confront them? It's time they know how you feel. Hey, most people would confront. Interesting. Okay. None of the above. They're meant to be difficult. Yes, these are meant to be difficult scenarios. Okay, Kale, next one. You are in a marriage where you feel unappreciated and discover that you are wildly attracted to a stranger. Do you act on your desires just this one time? Your spouse will never find out. Give your spouse an ultimatum or run away with them. They could be the person of your dreams. Ultimatums, no kidding.
Ben, what does that make you feel?
I wasn't answering Max. Okay, thank you, Kel. Next one, please. You notice that you're not as good at your job as you used to be. Do you decide to retire? Mexico's calling your name. Head to Nashville. It's time to be the singer you've always wanted to be. Or fake it and keep going. Nothing bad can happen, right?
Nashville, baby.
Wow, a lot of fakers. Wow, almost is that's like almost a total tie there between retiring and faking it. Awesome. Okay. You're lonely and a beautiful person comes into your life unexpectedly, suddenly changing everything. Do you throw all caution to the wind and fall for them? It's been forever since you felt this happy. Keep your walls up. You never know who someone really is. Or immediately deem yourself unworthy. Life never seems to work out for someone like you. Sad, come on, sad. Things will work out. Okay, so it looks like we throw all caution to the wind and fall for them. It's been forever since you've been this happy. That's the last one. Okay. Your friend asks you to join her new multi-level marketing business. Do you run for the hills? This has scam written all over it. Take time to research the company before you commit, or join immediately. If they love it, you'll likely love it too, and you don't want to be left behind. Wow, most the scam. All right. Okay, that's the last question. These were essentially, these are the scenarios that you will encounter in Only Human. Okay, these people, these questions are what our characters are facing when like in each story. And so if you found yourself wondering how you would react to these situations, and there wasn't an easy answer out of these choices, right? Then you'll get to see how the characters decided to respond to these scenarios in the book. Yes. Okay. Thank you. Okay, so we'll move on to interview. Yeah. Okay.
I'll take that out later.
I do want to sit on that.
You're the one who wanted it to be a family event.
Me too. I just want everyone to know I'm taking a very big risk having my husband interview me here. I don't even know what this, I'm scared. We'll just, this is gonna make or break us. Yeah, I should be, I know.
Hi, YouTube, like, and I'll, Benjamin will keep track of the thumbs up and stuff, so hopefully we're not keeping you too bored. All right, so, you ready?
I'm as ready as I'll ever be.
So the other day I was sitting at home trying to figure out what I was gonna write for questions, and I was kind of stumbling a little bit, so I asked Kristine, like, what kind of questions are you wanting me to ask? And not surprisingly, she had a list. Not only did she have a list, she kind of encouraged me to do like body gestures and make sure everyone was really engaged. She even gave me a sign to make sure everyone is involved. So there we go. And just to practice. Look at it. I don't understand. You're the one who did it. So, first question.
Oh my God. Okay. Yeah.
Don't be nervous.
Yeah.
Everyone's watching. We're good. You got this. Okay, so it's been a while since you've been in the hot seat. What have you been doing with your time for the last few years since we've written up or had a book release?
Oh, yeah. Well, I think I talked about most of this in my intro there. You guys know I went back to school and then was the writer in residence at the library and then started teaching at these institutions. And so I feel like I mentioned, a lot of the last 5 years have been dedicated to trying new things, new genres, but also helping other writers launch and mentor other writers as well. And so, yeah, it's been really satisfying. Obviously, your own writing, like something has to give at the end of the day. And so, again, I think that's what. Oh my
That was really good.
Thanks,
I feel like that might have been a little redundant. You're writing up the questions. You should have figured that out. I am so in the dark now. So, Why a short story collection this time? Your previous books were all young adult books, and you kind of popped out of the mold this time.
Yeah, so a lot of people question why I went for my MFA in writing. They're like, well, you're traditionally published, you have an agent, like, why would you go through this process? Because a lot of people, I think, have used the MFA in writing as a vehicle to actually finish a complete manuscript. And so that was a big question that I got a lot of the time. And honestly, I was starting to be asked to judge and mentor more things, and I didn't always feel confident in my ability to, say, judge poetry, for example, and I wanted to become a more well-rounded writer. So when I entered the MFA, I knew right away that I was going to work on something completely different. Like, I wanted to take risks and really learn and grow and use that time to like soak everything up like a sponge, which I think I did. I ended up falling in love with a lot of our short fiction that we read, the readings. And so for me, that felt like a great progression to try my hand at writing short stories. And so that's how I came to that.
How are you feeling?
Yeah,
You know I love you, right?
I know you love me.
Oh.
Right now.
Stay being nice.
So how do you approach the challenges of trying to tell such a complete story in such a short period of time or number of words for a short story?
Yeah, that's definitely a challenge. If you're used to novel writing, you're used to having a lot of space and a lot of words to flesh out scenes and all of that sort of thing. So short stories are definitely tricky in that, yeah, you have to practice compression, but you still want a sense of urgency and fast pacing so that somebody wants to keep reading, and that you include all of those elements in that story, right? What you'd have like the chance for it in an entire novel, now you're distilling that down into 20 pages or something like that. And so yeah, it was definitely a challenge, and something that I had a lot of fun with. Like, yeah, it's great.
I'm happy you found this genre. It's been good.
Thanks, Ben.
So, and I got a question about this particular question. So I heard that in one of your stories, you have a ruggedly handsome and good-looking paramedic. So, while I understand that the story is completely fictional itself, is there any chance that the character, the ruggedly handsome, good-looking one, is based on anyone you know?
Okay,
She wrote the questions. We
Yes,
can skip
and-
that one if it's uncomfortable.
yes and no. I have a serious answer to this. Yes and no. Okay, so obviously, like, your profession as a paramedic for 20 years, like, informs a lot of the medical stuff of the story, not like the embodied knowledge that I get from being the wife of a paramedic. Paramedicine is, this is maybe where I'll go off, this is where my serious answer lies, is that paramedicine is a noble, selfless career that doesn't get enough recognition in the world for what you do. And the nature of the job is so serious, where you're exposed to so much trauma all the time, and you do not have the time or space to work through that. I was very lucky in that you always told me about your calls, like confidentially, like, but you would tell me what happened in your shifts, and that you always talked about your work with me often. And so I was naturally interested in that. And anybody who is a family member of someone who's a frontline worker, or especially a medic, you know that you're living the lifestyle a lot with them. So they're working long hours, you're missing holidays, they're missing a lot of things in life to help other people. And again, there's high rates of like burnout and PTSD in the career. And I don't think that's given enough attention either. And so I wanted to craft a story that kind of addressed what that burnout and PTSD might look like and how it might affect somebody in their career. Now, I remember Ben saying to me, "Oh gosh, Kristine, I hope when people read the paramedic story in your book, it's called Crash." He's like, "I hope they don't think that's me and that I did that." Right? And I'm like,
Story.
yeah. And I'm like, "No, honey, I don't like, no, I'll make sure I say, like, Ben did not do any of the things that this paramedic does in the story, okay? It is not based it is not based on his experience as a paramedic, but I think at the heart of the issues of like experiencing burnout, experiencing PTSD, experiencing like the complexities of the job, that is absolutely true. And just to let you know, Brad and Joel, the two medics in the story, they're not nearly as ruggedly handsome as you are, Ben.
That was a very serious answer to a very comical question.
Sorry. Yeah.
All right, so how do you choose the themes and characters for your short stories?
Oh, that's a tough question. Well, I think it's not too far of a departure from, like, I have a social work background and worked in human services for a long time, and that's something I'm also passionate about. So I feel like it dovetails nicely with my writing in that I like to explore hard-hitting, realistic topics. So it didn't seem to be a departure for me to do that in this collection. In fact, I would say like it deals with pretty heavy-handed subject matter, all the stories, and even the ones that are funny at first glance, right? There is pain at the heart of it, right? Even the ones that are funny, people acted the way they did because at the root of what they're going through, there's pain. And so I think I tried to capture the human experience as much as I could, right? This idea that we're all human. I mean, the title Only Human, right? And that we all do things we're not necessarily proud of or that we feel is indicative of who we are. But when you're placed in difficult situations, you know, those things happen. Whether that's, you know, grief or loss or some kind of trauma or burnout or, you know, all of abuse, all of these things, right? And so it all affects us in different ways, and that just seemed like a natural thing to explore the human experience.
I think that's this sign you made really came in handy.
Everybody who knows I can't craft knows I wouldn't even be able to make that sign. Yes.
Which character or aspect of character of your book do you most closely identify with and why? I'm not smart enough to come up with that kind of question myself.
You know, I think I identify a little bit with everybody. I think everyone, I hope you all find a piece of yourselves in each of these characters, right? So like, you know, again, grief, we've all experienced grief and loss and feeling like we don't matter, or feeling a sense of loneliness in the world and what that translates to in behavior. So many of us have gone through trauma or some kind of abuse or difficult times. And so I think like I have one story where the mom is with a child who's been screaming for hours and hours and hours, and she's at the end of her rope. You know, as a mom, I can certainly attest to the fact that that has been real for me several times. You know, when you're alone with kids for long hours, when Ben would be working or out of even away from like working up north and stuff for weeks at a time, and it was me and the kids all the time. And when you're out of resources, you know, your mind can sometimes go to funny places that you don't expect. And so that's a tough question. I think I identify a little bit with everybody, and I hope you do too. You know, even when we think that things like maybe some of the things that the characters are doing are like heinous or something we would never choose for ourselves, I hope that you're at least able to reflect on why they got to that stage and maybe why they're responding the way that they are, right?
So the next question kind of piggybacks off of that a little bit. So you opted to delve into some pretty murky waters with these stories. What is the message that you're trying kind of to get out there to the readers?
So yeah, piggybacking off of that, I think it's that that you have some empathy and compassion when you hear a headline, when you hear somebody doing something, something that you think maybe morally or ethically isn't the right thing, or just, you know, people sometimes behave badly, and maybe having some grace for both yourself when you make mistakes, grace for others when they're behaving in ways that isn't characteristic or becoming of them, and that you have some compassion and empathy for maybe how they got into the situation they got in, or why, and the consequences of that. You'll see in the collection that there aren't any neat and tidy endings to these stories, and that was intentional. It was so that the reader would contemplate the consequences for the characters themselves, right? So I leave that sort of open-ended so that people decide what they think is going to happen to those characters at the end of the story, or what those consequences are going to be. So I think having empathy for that, and just being aware that we're all part of the human experience and all of its complexities, and it's a messy thing to be human, and we have to give ourselves grace, and especially forgive ourselves when we're not the people we want to be, right? Because obviously things got us to that point. Yeah.
So these are all short stories, and they have all been kind of left with pretty rough endings. Do you think any of these stories would be able to be expanded into a full book or turned into a screenplay? I know you've been dabbling with other types of writing as well. So is there any of these stories that you think might be able to go that direction?
The only one that I Crash, the paramedic story, actually, I've been working on a medical fiction book for adults for a while now that is basically a fleshing out. It's not about a paramedic, but it is about frontline healthcare workers, and it is a piggyback of Crash, and how PTSD and burnout are a thing, and so I guess that is already happening. That's a tough question. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think any of them? I've had a dream, or like a wish, that someday my son, who's in filmmaking, that maybe we could make a short film about Crash. But yeah, I've been kind of poking at him about that, but I don't know what that looks like or whatever, but it's sort of like a dream project. What do you think? Is there any that stick out?
There are so many good ones. Oh, come on. Yeah, there's options. There's definitely options. Crash is good. Yeah, I'm not going to spoil it.
Okay.
So
Okay.
unfortunately, we're on the last question of the night now.
Aww.
So young lady, right, she's older. It's only a couple days.
I'm 11 days older than Ben, and he never lets me forget it, ever.
That's online. I'm sorry. You're the one who invited me. So, do you have any other projects on the go?
As I've been telling everyone all night, I don't have time to write. Yeah, I do. That adult medical fiction book. But the other thing I've been working on since last summer, very sparingly, though not as much as I'd like, is my first nonfiction book, which is on writing to heal and therapeutic writing. So many of you know that I've spent a lot of time, like from working at the hospital and in community workshops for years and years and years, on helping people heal through writing and writing through trauma. And that's something I feel really strongly about, especially in a world where, again, there's all these cuts and healthcare feels like a bit of a dumpster fire, if I dare say, sometimes right now, that it's something I believe in as like a holistic mode of care that we can add and that is accessible to almost everybody and that can really help people to work through some of their challenges in life. And so, yeah, I've been working on a nonfiction book about that, and I'd love to see that come totally to fruition. Yeah, so we'll see how long it takes and where that goes.
Time will tell.
And we'll
Kristine, thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Ben.
I do have a favor from all of you here. If you could please leave a review for Kristine's book after you read it, either on McNally's site. I'm not sure, Benjamin, if there's a spot for McNally where you can leave reviews, or Amazon, or just anywhere. Word of mouth and getting the book out there as much as we can would be hugely appreciated. So please fire off a review once you've read it. Give some good, honest feedback, and yeah.
Yeah, please let me know what you think of the book. If you're horrified by it, or I've had some people have some really strong reactions to some of the stories. And so I love to hear that, for better or for worse. I'd love to hear what you think about it. And don't be afraid to reach out. And again, just thank you all for coming out. Everyone's so tired. I know it's hard to come out to events, and it means absolutely the world to me that you'd all come out here tonight and help celebrate the book, celebrate us and my family, because it's always a family. Whatever we do is always Team Deutscher.
Sign was such a good idea.
I'm so glad I thought about it, Ben. And yeah, just thanks everybody from the bottom of my heart. Truly, thank you for everything. It's yeah. Sure, if you want, yeah. Okay.
Would you guys like me to bring the mic around? Does anyone have questions you'd like to ask? I can run the mic out and Kristine can answer your questions if you got them. Oh, Max, I don't know, man.
Why are you so awesome? I think I speak on behalf of everyone when I say this.
Somebody hold up that sign.
Max, thank you. Max has been like an adopted son this year. He moved from PA to come to university this year, and he's staying with me at my house. Him and someone else, another boy. He's not here, but Max is been staying with us this year, and we kind of like each other. Yeah, just a little bit. Yeah, just a little bit. Thank you, Max.
If no one else has any questions.
Oh, no, not Ethan. Don't give Ethan the mic.
Okay, no one needs to all groan, that's fine. How do you find time to write in the day?
Yeah, that's a struggle. You know, I actually thought this time of my life I'd find more time to write than I did when you guys were little, but that hasn't been the case. When you guys were little, I used to put you to bed and Ben would be working, Dad would be working, and I would go sit at the kitchen table and just pound out pages. And I should have been sleeping, but I wasn't. I'd stay up late to try and finish Throwaway Girl, especially that first book, because I wanted to prove to myself that I could actually finally finish a manuscript instead of having all these unfinished ones, right? So I thought at this stage of my life that I would have more time, but like I mentioned, teaching is that doesn't allow for a lot of time. What I always try to do, even if I'm not writing actively, like I try to steal little moments. You know, the YA author Eric Walters. I was once at a conference with him years ago, and he said that he started writing. It used to be like I would have to have the house clean and everything done, and then I could finally sit and write. Well, the time would never come if I waited for that. So Eric Walters once said that one of the ways that he was able to write so many books, he's got well over 100 books, is that he got used to writing like at red lights, like he had a driver and he'd write in those little pockets when the car would stop, or like little pockets of time. He would just, even if it was just putting a couple sentences down, and that's how he would keep things going. And that stuck with me and made me think, I got to change what I'm doing. So now I've trained myself to work like in crazy situations, if it's loud, if it's, you know, whatever, I can kind of dial down and try and get a little bit of writing in when I can. That's what I try. And the other thing I try to do, even if I can't actively write, I'm always trying to do something to move the needle, to feel like I'm doing something for my writing career. So whether that's watching a movie or art or something that someone else created, like artist dates to like inspire me, or you know, tons of reading or things like that, so that I feel like I'm always doing something to, again, move that needle a little bit, right? Yeah.
Okay, so. One more.
So if you could drop everything like you're doing right now, life, job, like don't worry about anything that's going on right now, and travel anywhere and use wherever you travel to as inspiration for your writing, where would you travel to?
Italy.
Yeah.
So Ben and I are celebrating our 25th wedding anniversary on June 30th. And we decided to try and go on a trip. We haven't really traveled anywhere, just the two of us. We went on a little trip last year, but this is something we want to start doing. And we originally were hoping to go to Italy. That ended up, we're postponing that, and we're going to be going to Nova Scotia though to celebrate our anniversary, which is our first time. We're really excited. But like dream trip, like the Mediterranean, yeah, that would be amazing. Yeah. Cool question. Thank you.
I have one more question from the peanut gallery. Oh, there's a real question over here, Ethan.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, Kristine.
Hi, I'm Brody. Oh my gosh, hi Brody.
This is similar to Ethan's question, but
Okay.
what do you do if you're experiencing like a writer's block or a creative block?
Oh yeah. So there's like differing opinions on whether writer's block actually exists. I mean, I certainly have felt where I'm supposed to be writing and nothing's coming, though the well is dry. So one of the things I often do is kind of what I was just saying to Ethan. Julia Cameron has this, from The Artist's Way, has this thing where you take yourself on artist dates. So one of the things that I do is when I'm feeling like I'm really stuck, again, I'll read or watch movies or things about the topic that I'm looking at. But the other thing that I do is that I will like go look at art, or go to a coffee shop, or go to the bookstore and browse, and like immerse myself around other people who are either writing or doing something with creatively, in the hopes that kind of spurs me again, right? And am I doing something wrong? Oh, okay. and my first two books I wrote just writing on my own time. And the second two YA books, I was writing on spec, which means like they accepted the book, but I hadn't written it yet. And I found that when I wrote those two books, it was really, really hard to write under deadline. And you don't have a choice but to put your butt in the seat and finish the book. But it made for a really, really tricky writing process. And for me, I realized like some people were great under deadline, but for me, I felt like maybe things were rushed, and you know, if I could go back, maybe I would do that differently. And so, yeah, I don't know. Writer's block is a tough thing. We want to be able to like have such great output all the time, and that's just not what life looks like, right? So yeah, thank you.
It's the last question here from Ethan, and then do you want to explain after about signing and stuff?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so
You want to? Yeah.
here's Ethan.
Well, I was gonna say, Brody actually asked a question I was gonna ask, but like I'm in my 20s now, and my mom still makes my lunch for work some days. So that's what I was gonna ask. My mom is so great that she like still cooks for us, does everything, and probably dresses me still. She buys my clothes. It's my first time publicly admitting that, but yeah. So I just wanted everyone to give a round of applause for my mom. Amazing.
So, okay. I think we do have a desperate question at the back there, real quick. So,
What's the main topic of your books?
Oh, that is a I'm sorry, I was too quick. That's a really great question. The main topic, I think the main topic is that people are going through really hard times in life and they're trying to figure out, how do I deal with this, right? When something tricky is happening to you and it feels scary, it feels sad, and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know how to handle this, right? My characters in all of the stories, they have to try to figure out, what do I do here? What's the best way I should behave or I should act, or how do I get through this, right? And what you see in the stories is that not everybody makes the right choices, maybe, right? But we can understand why they make the choices, because like these are not easy situations to be in, right? And so we kind of, if us the reader, we can see that we're going to witness something that's not so great, but our characters can't witness that for themselves, because our characters, right, they think that they're making the right choice, and maybe it is the right choice for them, but here the readers get to decide, was that the right choice? Would I have made that choice? Yeah, does that answer your question? Awesome, thank you.
Well, thank you once again, Kristine. Thank you, Ben, both for being here tonight. This was absolutely fantastic. I'm just going to repeat, if you would like to buy a copy of Only Human, we have some right up here next to where I'm standing. We have some at the back table as well. I'm sure if you have other questions or comments for Kristine, she'd be happy to hear them at the signing table. And yeah, feel free to grab a book. You don't have to buy it before you get it signed, but please buy it after. I cannot stress this enough. Otherwise, well, let's give one more round of applause. Thanks, everybody.